So I'm asking, am I the asshole if I don't tell my dad we'll be gone and they drive down to meet my son and come to an empty house? Let me explain. I'm 29 years old, and I've spent most of my life trying to impress my dad or get his attention. 10 years ago, I met my husband, who's 33, and he never liked my dad because of how he treats me and the things he said about me and my stepsisters. As I've gotten older, I'm not really trying anymore. I don't call him, but I'll answer if he calls. They live a few hours from me, and they only drive up for holidays and make them a pit stop when we go to see other family up there. I really only keep in touch because of my grandma, and once she's gone, I'm done with holidays unless he tries, which he probably won't. When our first son was born, almost 2 years ago now, we asked everyone to wait until after he was born before coming to the hospital. I didn't want people in and out while I was in labor or sitting in the waiting room for hours. The only people there were my mom and husband in the delivery room, and his mom was in the waiting room bringing us food or anything we needed. Our son was born late that night, so we told everyone to visit the next morning. Most of my family lives a couple of hours away, and my stepsisters and brother-in-law came early to meet their nephew. But my dad threw a fit because he wasn't there for the birth, telling people I was selfish. He and his wife eventually came much later that day and didn't stay long, which was fine with me. Since then, they've only come to see our oldest twice, once being his first birthday. Meanwhile, we've driven to them about 5 times over the last 2 years for holidays and funerals. They never invite us or make plans. We always have to initiate them. My sisters, on the other hand, regularly invite us to visit or meet for weekend trips, and they've driven to see their nephew several times. Every time my dad and stepmom find out, they act like, oh, poor me, they never do anything with us. Our second son is now 2 months old, and my dad and his wife still haven't met him. They also haven't seen our oldest since February, when we drove to them. They constantly say, we'll come in March, then we'll come in April, but they never follow through. To make matters worse, my dad can't remember my kids' names. He calls them my cousin's kids' names, or just says, how's the baby? Or how's the oldest? It drives my husband crazy. It's not a mental issue. It's just he isn't around enough or cares enough to try. He's still young and has a good memory if he's interested in the topic, but we're not one. He couldn't tell you a single thing about my oldest likes or interests. Nothing. One of my sisters called and asked, did you know they're coming this weekend? I honestly had no idea, and no one has told me anything. If they do come, we already have plans. We have a funeral for my husband's family Saturday morning and won't be home. My husband thinks they'll show up unannounced, if they even show up at all. I thought about calling to ask if they're actually coming, but my husband says not to and to let them show up to an empty house. Part of me thinks that's an asshole move, but another part thinks it's the consequence of never communicating. So, am I the asshole if I don't tell them we'll be gone and they end up driving a few hours to an empty house? Follow for part 2.